grew up thinking that everyone had a mystery container in their freezer. You know the one? A big plastic bowl filled with random leftovers? A scoop of corn, a spoonful of rice, a half a pork chop, maybe even some cabbage? My mom would keep tossing in little bits until one day that bowl turned into freezer soup. And here's the thing. I still do this today. That freezer soup wasn't just about food. It was about stretching every dollar, respecting what we had, and finding joy in being a little bit creative with it. It was never about being deprived. It was about finding pride in the fact that nothing went to waste. And honestly, that one simple thing taught me more about money than any class in school ever did. Hello, my friend. If you're new here, my name is Sarah. I'm the owner of FrozenPennies.com. I'm a financial coach and the author of the best-selling book, Fundamentally Frugal. Link below. Today I'm sharing 20 frugal things I learned growing up that I still do today. Not just because they save money, but because they made life simpler, richer, and sometimes even tastier. And big props to my mom for this list. Hi, Mama. I know you're watching. So grab a cup of coffee and settle in because I bet at least a few of these will bring back memories for you too. Let's start with the star of the show, freezer soup. The beauty of this habit is that nothing goes to waste. A single pork chop that wouldn't feed a family is on its own suddenly becomes a part of a whole new meal. I still keep that container in my freezer, tossing in little bits of leftovers. And when the bowl is full, it's soup night, baby. Some nights it's delicious. Some nights it's more interesting. But it always reminds me of my mom's frugal genius. And honestly, it's fun. You never know exactly what you're getting. It's like the grab bag of dinner. Cooking with a crock pot. In the 80s, the crock pot was practically a member of our family. My mom would toss in a roast with some carrots and potatoes and before heading to work, and by the time dinner rolled around, the whole house smelled like heaven. It wasn't just about convenience, it was about stretching what we had. Cheaper cuts of meat that might have been tough on the stove turned tender and delicious after a day in the slow cooker. And honestly, that lesson stuck with me. I still use my crock pot today. It saves money because I can buy less expensive ingredients and turn them into something amazing. It saves time because dinner practically cooks itself. And it keeps us from grabbing takeout when life gets busy. There's something comforting about lifting that lid at 5 o'clock and knowing it's hot, homemade meal is waiting, just like it did back in the 80s. Never pay full price. One of the golden rules in our house was this. Never pay full price if you don't have to. My mom treated bargain hunting like a sport. She had an eagle eye for clearance racks, knew which days the grocery store marked things down, and always had a stash of coupons ready. Growing up, I watched her walk out of stores with bags of goods for a fraction of the cost. And it was like watching magic. The lesson stuck with me. To this day, I almost never pay sticker price. If I can't find a discount code, I'll wait. If I know a sale is coming, I'll hold off. It's about patience because patience always pays off. And the best part, it makes shopping feel like a win, like you've cracked a secret code. The thrill of the deal is half the fun, and it's one of those habits that saves money without ever feeling like a sacrifice. Saving glass jars. In the 80s, jelly jars weren't just jars. They were our drinking glasses, pencil holders, and sometimes even flower vases. My mom never threw them away because why would you? They were sturdy, free, and endlessly useful. Open our kitchen cabinet back then and you'd find a whole lineup of mismatched glass jars, each one with a second life. Now I've carried that same habit with me. My cupboards are still full of glass jars and I use them for everything, leftovers, nuts and bolts in the garage, salad dressings, even storage for rice and pasta. They're better than the pricey storage containers sold in stores, and every time I pull one out, I'm reminded of those kitchen cabinets growing up. It's funny how something so simple can feel so grounding. A glass jar never is just a glass jar. It's a little piece of frugal genius that keeps on giving. Thrifting. When I was a kid, thrifting wasn't trendy or called sustainable shopping. It was just life. Clothes, dishes, furniture, jewelry, so much of what we owned came from thrift stores, garage sales, or bags of hand-me-downs passed from my cousins in South Carolina. And it wasn't about settling for less, it was about finding treasure in unexpected places. To this day, thrifting is still one of my happy places. Walking into a thrift store feels like a treasure hunt. You never know what you'll find. Maybe a vintage sweater that becomes your favorite, or a sturdy cast iron pan that lasts a lifetime. And the prices, you can't normally beat them. But more than that, thrifting is satisfying in a way that shopping brand new never is. There's pride in giving something a second life and knowing you saved money while doing it. It's a habit from the 80s that feels just as smart today, leftover night. Every week in our house, there was one night dedicated to cleaning out the fridge. Mom would set everything up on the counter, a spoonful of mashed potatoes, 2 slices of meatloaf, a half pan of lasagna, and it turned into a mix and match dinner buffet. Sometimes it looked chaotic, sometimes it was surprisingly gourmet, but nothing ever went to waste. No, I've kept that same rhythm in my own house. Once a week, it's leftover night. Wait, who am I kidding? It's more like 3 nights a week because if you know me, you know I hate cooking. No cooking, no planning, just a plate of whatever's left from earlier in the week. When my youngest son was little, he loved it because it's like getting a choose-your-own-adventure meal. Someone's got tacos, someone's got pasta, and I'm over here with 3 meatballs and some broccoli. It saves money, saves time, and honestly, it's one of the most fun and stress-free dinners of the week. Camping as a summer vacation. Now, we didn't take super fancy vacations growing up. No resorts, not a lot of flights, no real amusement parks. Summer vacation meant one thing, camping. We'd pack up the car with a tent, a cooler full of food, and plenty of bug spray and head to the woods. It wasn't about luxury, it was about family, fresh air, and making memories on a budget. That tradition still sticks with me. These days I find so much joy in unplugging and heading to our favorite campsite at the lake. It's low cost, low stress, and high reward. Campfire dinners, morning coffee in the woods, late night card games under string lights. There's something magical about it. You don't need a 5-star hotel to feel rich. Sometimes the richest moments are the simplest ones, shared under the stars with the people that you love. Turning off lights. The sound of my mom's voice is burned into my brain. We're not lighting the whole neighborhood. It didn't matter if you just ran upstairs for 2 minutes. If that light was left on, you were going to hear about it. Back then, electricity wasn't cheap and my parents weren't about to waste a dime. That little habit followed me into adulthood. I can't walk out of a room without flipping a switch. My son teases me about it, but you know what? Our electric bill thanks me every single month. It's such a simple thing, but those small savings, they add up. And more than that, it's about being mindful, paying attention to what you're using instead of letting it run unchecked. It's funny how something as small as a light switch can shape the way you think about money. Saving bread bags. Growing up, we didn't have a fancy drawer full of Ziplocs. What we had was in a bag stuffed with bread bags. Every empty loaf bag was rinsed out or shaken out, folded up, and saved for later. Sandwiches went in them, cookies went in them, even freezer leftovers got tucked away inside. It wasn't about being cheap, it was about being practical. Why throw away something that could be used again? Now, I still keep a stash of bread bags today. They're perfect for odds and ends, for wrapping something on the go, or for storage when you don't want to use a brand new bag. They're also perfect for dirty diapers when the grandkids come to visit. They're even great for garbage now that our stores are not giving out plastic bags anymore for groceries. Now, my son rolls his eyes when he sees me smoothing out a bread bag, but he's also the first one to grab one when he needs it. Free storage, less waste, and a little nod to my childhood every time I open that drawer. DIY cleaning supplies. Back then, we didn't have a cupboard packed with fancy cleaners for every little task. The cleaning aisle in our house was vinegar, baking soda, and maybe a lemon or two. Those were the go-to solutions for just about everything. Scrubbing, deodorizing, disinfecting. And you know what? They work just fine. I've carried that same habit into my own house. Sure, you can buy a $10 cleaner for every surface, but vinegar and baking soda are still just as effective, if not more effective, and a whole lot cheaper. Plus, I like knowing exactly what's in the bottle I'm spraying around my family. Half the time my house still smells faintly like vinegar, pickles, maybe, okay, sometimes. And it makes me smile because the smell of saving money. DIY cleaners are one of those little habits that not only stretch your dollars, but also remind you that simple is often better. Mend your rips and tears. When I was a kid, a hole in your jeans didn't mean a trip to the mall. It meant mom pulled out the sewing kit, whether it was a quick stitch, a patch on the knee, or a button sewn back on. She fixed it instead of replacing it. That was just how it was. Clothes were made to last and we treated them that way. These days, mending has almost become trendy. People call it visible mending and share their stitches on Instagram. But for me, it's just a second nature. If something rips, I fix it. A 5-minute repair can save me $50 on a replacement, and it keeps good clothes out of the trash. Every time I sit down with a needle and thread, I feel like I'm carrying on a tradition that's as practical as it is frugal. It's not about perfection. It's about respect for what you already have. Always take home leftovers. Eating out was a rare treat when I was growing up, so if we went out to a restaurant, every single bite was precious. Nothing ever got left behind. Whatever we couldn't finish went to a box and turned into tomorrow's lunch. My parents never saw the point in paying for food twice, and that little lesson stuck with me. Even today, I never leave a restaurant without taking my leftovers. It's like getting 2 meals for the price of 1. And restaurant meals are not cheap. And honestly, some things taste even better the next day. Cold pizza for breakfast is basically a rite of passage. Now, my son teases me about this too, but he's just as quick to grab the takeout box when he opens the fridge. As a matter of fact, he works for a golf course, and there's a restaurant there that's attached to the golf course. He's the first one they call when they have leftovers from a function. Last week, he brought home a big, huge bowl of chicken and pasta that was delicious. There were at least 2 meals in that bowl, if not more. Stretching 1 meal into 2 or more is the kind of frugal math that makes me smile every single time. Cooking from scratch. Fast food was a luxury we didn't really have when I was a kid. My mom made almost everything from scratch. Bread, soups, casseroles, even birthday cakes. It wasn't about being fancy, it was about saving money and making sure we always had a hot meal on the table. The smell from her kitchen still lives in my memory. Banana bread baking in the oven or a stew simmering on the stove or crock pot. That habit became second nature to me. Cooking from scratch is cheaper, it's healthier, and usually more delicious than takeout. Sure, it takes more time, but it also slows you down and brings people together. Some of my best memories are sitting at the kitchen table, talking and laughing while something bubbled away on the stove. Homemade food isn't just about filling your belly, it's about filling your life with connection. Saving wrapping paper. Birthdays and Christmas mornings always came with a side activity. Carefully folding up used wrapping paper. While the kids wanted to rip through gifts like a tornado, Mom and Graham were smoothing out tissue paper, collecting bows, and stashing away every reusable gift bag. At the time, I thought it was just quirky. Now, I see it as sort of brilliant. I still do it today. My gift wrap box is full of tissue paper bags and bows that have seen more holidays than I can count. My son shakes his head when I pull out a gift bag that's at least a decade old, but he's also saving them. It's one of those little things that keep costs down while adding a touch of nostalgia to gift giving. Frugal, practical, and honestly, a little bit of fun using what you have. When we ran out of something growing up, we didn't just run to the store because we lived in the country. We made do. Missing an ingredient in a recipe? Mom would substitute something else. Needed a tool or supply? She found another way to make it work. That mindset of resourcefulness was just how life operated. Today, I carry that same question with me. What can I use that I already have? It saves me money, time, and often a trip to the store. Sometimes it's about repurposing an item. Other times it's about cooking without a missing ingredient. It's a small habit, but it changes how you see your home. Instead of constantly looking outward to buy something new, you look inward at what you already own. And more often than not, the solution is right there. Free entertainment. We didn't need theme parks or expensive outings to have fun when I was growing up. Entertainment was simple. Hikes through our backwoods, board games at the kitchen table, or family movie nights at home with popcorn. Those moments cost next to nothing, but they created the best memories. I've carried that tradition forward. Some of my favorite evenings are still spent doing a puzzle, reading a book, or watching a movie at home. Free or low-cost fun beats pricey outings almost every time. And the truth is that those simple moments usually turn into the stories you remember years later. My son may not recall every amusement park we visited, but he'll remember those late-night Monopoly games and Saturday movie marathons. That's the kind of joy money can't buy. Eating seasonally. We ate with the seasons growing up, and not because it was trendy. Strawberries were summer treats. Apples filled the fall, and in the winter, we stuck with what was affordable and available. It wasn't just smart, it made everything taste better. Now, I still try to plan meals this way. Shopping seasonally means I buy what's on sale at peak flavor, and it connects me to the rhythm of the year. Because strawberries in January just don't taste great. Picked before they're ready and then ripened on a truck traveling across country? No thank you. There's something grounding about looking forward to strawberries in June or sweet corn in August. Or opening up a mason jar of applesauce, having strawberry shortcake from the frozen berries you picked last summer, or homemade bread with grape jam canned from Mr. Smith's grapes that he no longer picks. It's frugal, it's delicious, and it makes food feel special. Like once you're celebrating the season instead of fighting it. Cooking big batches. In our house, cooking wasn't just about dinner that night, it was about planning ahead. My mom always made extra, whether it was chili, soup, or a casserole. The extra portions got frozen or eaten as leftovers, and it made life easier during busy weeks. That habit is one of my all-time favorites. I still batch cook meals, portion them out, and freeze them for later. It saves me from ordering takeout. It saves money on ingredients, and it saves my sanity on nights when I don't want to cook, which is most of the time. Having a freezer full of homemade food feels like money in the bank, a little safety net waiting to be pulled out on a tough day. Car maintenance at home. A lot of my frugal lessons came from the driveway. My dad did our oil changes, rotated the tires, and took care of the basics himself. It wasn't just about saving money, it was about being capable, about not relying on someone else for every little thing. Now, I may not do every car repair myself, but I still handle the basics. And when I say I really mean my amazing husband. He keeps up with oil changes, wiper blades, and small maintenance jobs at home. Preventative care also saves so much money in the long run, and it gives me a sense of control. Instead of waiting for problems to show up, I feel like I'm taking charge, just like my dad taught me all those years ago. Saving change in a jar. There was always a jar in the kitchen counter for loose change. Pennies, nickels, and the occasional quarter, it all went in there. Over time, that little jar would add up to something fun. Pizza night, an ice cream run, maybe even a small family outing. It was like a tiny savings account you didn't even notice you were building. Now, I've also kept that tradition alive. My own change jar sits in the laundry closet, and every coin I empty from my pockets, my purse, or any place else goes straight in there. When it's full, it feels like free money. It's not going to pay the bills, but it's a reminder that small things add up. And every time I cash it in, I can't help but think of that jar from my childhood, proof that even the simplest habits can make a big difference. It's funny how these little habits, the ones that seem so ordinary growing up, end up shaping how we live as adults. They've taught me to value resourcefulness, to appreciate the simple things, and to find pride in stretching what we already have. Every jar saved, every meal stretched, every small choice adds up, not just for dollars saved, but to a way of living that feels intentional and meaningful. And I know I'm not the only one. I'd love to hear which of these frugal habits you grew up with, or which ones you've carried into your own life today. And if this video spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and watch this video next.